Arrival in Africa brought unforeseen danger for Pauline. The adventure she had long dreamed of now seemed to take a life-threatening turn. Her journey began with enthusiasm, a quest to document the vibrant ecosystem of Africa's dense jungles. But as she trekked deeper into the wilderness, the sounds of nature became more ominous than serene. The jungle felt alive in an almost suffocating way. Towering trees blocked the sunlight, their leaves casting eerie shadows. Vines hung in thick tangles, their twisted forms mimicking grasping hands. Every step on the uneven terrain sent her heart racing, her senses heightened by every rustle and chirp. Suddenly the air grew still, as if the jungle itself was holding its breath. Pauline froze, her instincts tingling. That's when she saw a massive figure emerging from the thicket. At first it was only a shadow amidst the foliage, but as it stepped into a clearing, her breath caught. It was a gorilla, unlike any she had imagined, dark, towering and bristling with strength. Its powerful form radiated raw energy, and its piercing eyes seemed to look straight through her. Panic surged within her as she recalled the guide's warnings. The words echoed in her mind: respect the jungle's inhabitants. Never provoke, never run. And if you encounter a gorilla, play dead. Her legs threatened to give way beneath her, but she forced herself to obey the advice. Slowly, trembling, she lowered herself to the ground, lying still, as if life had left her. The gorilla advanced, its massive hands brushing aside branches as it moved closer. Pauline's heart thundered, the sound almost louder than the silence around her. She dared not breathe, not even when the gorilla stopped mere inches away. Its scent, a mix of earth and musk, filled her nostrils. She could feel its warm breath against her skin, a reminder of just how close danger truly was. Time seemed to stretch infinitely as the gorilla inspected her. Its intelligent, dark eyes scrutinized her face, as though searching for something beyond her exterior. It sniffed her hair, its fingers lightly grazing her arm. Pauline fought every instinct to flinch or cry out, knowing that the slightest movement could mean disaster. Then the unimaginable happened. Rather than lash out, the colossal creature did something she could never have anticipated. It gently scooped her up. Pauline's fear, already at its peak, soared even higher. Suspended in the powerful arms of the gorilla, she felt like a helpless child, her fate completely out of her control. She clung to the gorilla, her hands trembling as they touched its thick fur. Her mind raced through possibilities. Was it taking her to its territory? Was she about to become a threat that needed to be eliminated? The unknown loomed over her as they journeyed deeper into the jungle. After what felt like hours, the gorilla stopped before the entrance of a hidden cave. Pauline's wide eyes darted around, taking in her new surroundings. The cave was surprisingly spacious, its entrance framed by dense foliage that provided a natural curtain. The gorilla set her down with surprising care, its movements deliberate and unthreatening. To her astonishment, it didn't attack. Instead, the creature seemed protective, almost parental. It stationed itself at the cave entrance, watching the wilderness beyond with a vigilant gaze. Pauline sat motionless, her body too stunned to move, her mind struggling to process what was happening. The gorilla's eyes occasionally flicked back toward her. In their depths, she saw something profound: a quiet intelligence, an unspoken understanding. This was no ordinary animal encounter. It felt as though the creature recognized her vulnerability and had chosen to safeguard her. Hours passed, though to Pauline, they felt like days. Her fear gradually gave way to awe, and a strange bond seemed to form between her and the gorilla. She didn't dare make any sudden movements, but she no longer felt as though her life was in imminent danger. Meanwhile, a rescue team was combing the jungle, following the faint trail left by her jeep. The guide, who had been waiting for Pauline to return, had sounded the alarm when she failed to appear. The rescuers were experienced, but even they hadn't anticipated what they would find. The rescue team pushed through the thick jungle, their voices muffled by the towering trees. They called out Pauline's name, their anxiety growing with each unanswered shout. As they pressed onward, they stumbled upon footprints not human, but large and unmistakably those of a gorilla. Hope and dread mingled in their minds. Had Pauline encountered one of the jungle's most powerful creatures? As the sun began to dip, casting the jungle in hues of gold and shadow, they finally reached the hidden cave. What they saw froze them in their tracks. Pauline sat on the ground, unharmed but visibly shaken. Towering beside her at the entrance was the gorilla, its broad shoulders illuminated by the fading light. The rescuers approached cautiously, their movements deliberate and slow. They knew the wrong step could provoke the creature. Pauline's eyes filled with tears of relief as she spotted them. Though her voice was hoarse from hours of silence, she managed a faint call, signaling she was alive and unharmed. The gorilla shifted slightly, its gaze flicking between Pauline and the newcomers. For a moment the rescuers hesitated, fearing the creature might turn aggressive. But then, as if understanding the situation, the gorilla stepped aside. Its posture was calm, almost regal, as though it had fulfilled its duty. The team moved quickly, reaching Pauline and helping her to her feet. Her legs wobbled, and one of the guides steadied her, murmuring words of reassurance. As they prepared to leave, Pauline turned back toward the gorilla, her expression a mix of gratitude and wonder. The creature met her gaze one last time. In its eyes she saw the same quiet wisdom that had comforted her in the cave. It stood still, watching as the group began their retreat. Then, with a final deliberate motion, it turned and disappeared into the jungle, vanishing into the shadows as if it had never been there. The journey back to safety was surreal for Pauline. She recounted the events in fragments, her voice trembling with emotion. The rescuers listened, their faces a mixture of disbelief and amazement. Encounters with gorillas were rare, but such behavior was almost unheard of. Back at the base camp, Pauline was examined by a doctor who confirmed she was unharmed, apart from exhaustion and a few minor scrapes. Still, the emotional weight of her experience lingered. She couldn't shake the memory of the gorilla's eyes, the way they had seemed to communicate something beyond words. News of the incident spread quickly among the team, and soon others in the area heard the tale. Some dismissed it as mere luck, attributing the gorilla's behavior to instinct or coincidence. Others, however, spoke of ancient beliefs of jungle guardians who watched over travelers in need. For Pauline, the encounter left an indelible mark. She felt a newfound respect for the jungle and its inhabitants, a recognition of their complexity and depth. The experience also stirred a deep curiosity within her. She resolved to continue her work, but with a greater sense of humility and reverence for the natural world. The gorilla remained an unsolved mystery, a reminder of the wild's untamed beauty and unpredictability. Pauline knew she had witnessed something extraordinary, a moment where the boundaries between human and animal blurred, revealing a connection that defied explanation. Though the jungle still held its dangers, Pauline no longer saw it as a place of fear. Instead, it was a realm of wonder, where even the most terrifying encounters could hold unexpected grace.